Good morning, students. I am fortunate to introduce a fascinating lesson. The title of the lesson is Empowered Women Navigating the World. Empowered women or powerful women traveling by boat and went round the world in 254 days. Before we get on to the lesson, let's learn 4 new words. It is one word substitution. The phrase is given. Try to find out try to substitute the phrase with one word. First one who is the center of attraction. One who wins the admiration and attraction of others is called cynosure. Ruth was the cynosure of all eyes is the example. Second phrase, one who shows sustained enthusiastic action with unflagging vitality. Unflagging vitality means untiring energy or vigor. Is called indefatigable. His indefatigable spirit helped him to cope up with his illness. His untiring energy and untiring mindset is called indefatigable. The next one, a phrase or form of words written in memory of a person who has died. So normally it is written on a tomb. It is called epitaph. The rarest quality in an epitaph is truth. Normally we normally praise the person who is dead. So a phrase or form of words written in memory of a person who has died is epitaph. The final one, an imaginary ideal society free of poverty and suffering. An imaginary world with full of happiness and pleasures. Everyone wants to dwell in this place. This is called utopia. I hope the inhabitants enjoy it as much utopia. So 4 words we learned today: cynosure, indefatigable, epitaph, utopia. Now let's set off our journey with the lesson. The name of the lesson is Empowered Women Navigating the World. There are 6 characters in the crew. They are Lieutenant Commander Vatika Joshi, Lieutenant Commander Pratibha Jamwal, Lieutenant Commander Swati Patrapalli, Lieutenant Aishwarya Botapati, Lieutenant Vijay Devi, Lieutenant Payal Gupta. Now about the boat they used for their 254 days of voyage. The name of the boat is INSV Tarini, is the second sailboat of the Indian Navy. So the pictures are given. So what is sailboat? Sailboat is a boat propelled by sails. Sail. What is sail? It's given in the first picture, a piece of material extended to catch the wind. So it's a projected part out of the mast. It is helpful to catch the wind. Then she was constructed at Aquarius shipyard located in Goa. So it's a native, it is made in India. This shipyard is located in Goa. After undergoing extensive sea trials, she was commissioned to Indian Navy service on 18th February 2017. After many tests and trials, it is given to Indian Navy in 2017. The INSV Tarini picture is given. This is the second picture. She is fitted with now the special features of the boat. She is fitted with advanced features such as satellite communications. So it has satellite communication facility. Then Ray Marine Navigation Suite. What is Ray Marine Navigation Suite? It supplies electronic equipments for marine use. The products are like a GPS chart plotting machine, then very high frequency radios. The next one is fish finding machine. The last one is like windmill. It is called wind vane, a device that measures the direction of the wind. Now, once again, let me read. She is fitted with advanced features such as satellite communications, Ray Marine Navigation Suite, and a monitor wind vane equipped for emergency steering. Tarini is similar to her predecessor, the INSV Madi. Predecessor means forerunner, the one which came first, which has travelled over 115,000 nautical miles during her 8 years of service. So, during her 8 years of service, this Madi has covered 115,000 nautical miles. Nautical miles is a unit for measuring distance at sea. So, we learned now the crew members and about the sailboat. Now let's move on to the objective. For what purpose we are going to learn this lesson? In what way we are benefited by learning this? So normally women were considered soft, weak and capable of getting married, giving birth, and raising their children. But now in the 21st century, this scenario is totally changed. Women are perfectly suitable for any sport, adventure, exploration, and any field. Women have proved their talents, their mettle in all capabilities or in all capacities: space exploration, research and development, science and medicine, politics, financing, management, education, and whatnot. Women have set high standards than men. They will keep the world spick and span if it is given in their hands. They are peacemakers. They will stay away from all sorts of wars, crimes, greed, and avarice. Now about Indian Navy. It offers exciting career opportunities for women. So girls, those who are interested in Indian Navy or Indian Army, have an eye on it. Go in pursuit of this and grasp the incredible opportunity, because Navy champions gender equality and provides a quality supportive working environment. You have supportive working environment, you can very well go and join with Indian Navy. Now let's get start of our journey with the lesson. Here, the advancement of technology showcases women's real power. Women occupy major positions in the society. Then about INSV Tarini, we already learned this. Now let me read the content. Gone are the days where women in India remained indoors unless permitted to go out with an escort. Without a bodyguard, women were not allowed to go out. Conditions today have changed thanks to all those women who have fought for their freedom and set a very good example for others. So, thanks to the women who fought for their freedom, and they have set an example to other women. The real power of women, though realized earlier, is currently being projected to the world by the advancement of technology and media. Again, thanks to technology and media, which helped women, which projected the emancipation of women to the world. Women occupy almost all the major positions in society. Currently, women's accomplishments are tremendous in many fields. One such achievement is the all-women Indian Navy crew who circumnavigated the world for 254 days all alone in a sailboat called INSV Tarini. This is all about what we are going to learn today. So, one such achievement of women, Indian Navy women who circumnavigated the world, who sailed along the ocean and who went around the world in 254 days all alone in a sailboat called INSV Tarini. What is INSV Tarini? INSV stands for Indian Naval Ship Vessel. Tara Tarini is the patron deity for sailors and is worshipped for safety and success at sea. So, Tara is the guardian deity or goddess who takes care of her devotees. INSV Tarini is the second sailboat of the Indian Navy. It is the second sailboat. So, ultimately, we have the first one. It is INSV Madi. It's a 55-foot sailing vessel built indigenously in India by MS Aquarius Shipyard Private Limited, located in Goa. So, this Tarini is a 55-foot sailing boat. It is made in India and it is constructed in Goa. After undergoing extensive sea trials, she was commissioned to the Indian Navy service on 18th February 2017. The boat was named after the famous Tara Tarini temple in Ganjam district of Odisha. The word Tarini means boat and in Sanskrit it means savior. INSV Tarini has advanced Ray Marine Navigation Suite. I already told Ray Marine Navigation Suite supplies electronic items to this boat. INSV Tarini has advanced Ray Marine Navigation Suite and an array of satellite communication system for perfect navigation anywhere in the world. So, as it is mentioned, it is made in India with all these features, with all these special qualities. Now here it is about a Navika Sagar Parikrama. It's a project. Indian government's efforts to bring out the potential of women to the society, and it promotes the ocean sailing activities. Then the special features of the boat. Navika Sagar Parikrama was a project undertaken in consonance with the national policy to empower women to attain their full potential, just to give empowerment to women or emancipation to women. The project considered essential towards promoting ocean sailing activities in the Navy, while depicting. So two aspects are there. One is promoting ocean sailing activities in the Navy. The second one is giving power to women or exhibiting the potential of women to the society, said Chief of the Naval Staff Admiral Sunil Lamba in his welcome speech. So Admiral Sunil Lamba in his welcome speech highlights two important things. One is the Navika Sagar Parikrama project. It's all about the emancipation of women and also promoting sea sailing activities in the Navy. Then next, the voyage was aimed to showcase Make in India initiative by sailing on board indigenously built INSV Tarini. The special feature of this sailboat is that it encouraged use of environment-friendly, non-conventional renewable energy resources such as the wind, collected and updated meteorological ocean and wave data on a regular basis for accurate weather forecasts by India Meteorological Department, and also collected data for monitoring marine pollution on high seas. So why Make in India is highlighted, showing, exhibiting all the features, all the special features given in the boat. The government is emphasizing as to depend on Make in India slogan or Make in India product. So this INSV Tarini is made in India, and the most important thing is it is environmental friendly. It is made using the wind. Using natural resources like wind, it will move forward. Then it collects and updates meteorological, ocean and wave data on a regular basis for accurate weather forecasts by India Meteorological Department. So it collects accurate weather report. Meteorological Department is weather department. It foretells the weather and collected data for monitoring marine pollution on high seas. Now, Indian Navy 6 women crew. It's about the crew members. Indian Navy's all-women crew was the first ever to circumnavigate the globe, skippered by Lieutenant Commander Vatika Joshi. So the crew consists of 6 Indian Navy women. The captain of the team is Lieutenant Commander Vatika Joshi. The all-women team has also Lieutenant Commander Pradeepa Jambal, Lieutenant Commander Swati Patrapalli, Lieutenant Aishwarya Bhottapati, then Lieutenant Vijay Devi and Lieutenant Payalda as its crew members. So the crew consists of 6 members. The crew started their voyage on 10th September 2017 from Goa, flagged off by the Defence Minister of India. Flagged off means started. Then Defence Minister is Nirmala Sitharaman. Okay, now who's the Defence Minister of India? Rajnath. Am I right? Rajnath Singh is the Defence Minister. The crew started their voyage on 10th September 2017 from Goa, flagged off by the Defence Minister of India. It was a historic day which would be marked in navigation history and globally. It covered the expedition in 5 legs with stopovers at 4 ports. So it halted in 5 places and they stayed at 4 ports. The places: Fremantle, Australia; Littletown, New Zealand; Port Stanley, the Falklands and Cape Town, South Africa. In all these places, they stayed and collected, refilled the ration for replenishment of ration and repair as necessary before returning to Goa in April 2018. So in September 2017, they started the journey. They returned Goa in April 2018. Just for replenishment of ration, refilling of ration and repair work, they stayed in some places. And now here starts the interview with the crew members. An interview with the crew members, India's all-women Navy crew who went around the world in 254 days, have shared their experiences about their great voyage in an interview. Now, their experiences they share with an interviewer. Through their potential personal experiences, we really come to know their hardships and unpredictable challenges they have faced all through their expeditions. Here they share their unexpected challenges and the struggles they faced while they were undertaking this journey. Now interviewer is asking question. Interviewer: how well were you acquainted with the sailboat before you took up the task? So the interviewer asking, are you familiar with the sailboat? Were you familiar with the sailboat before you undertook this journey? Vatika Joshi: is the captain, she's answering. None of us were acquainted with a sailboat or ocean-going boat. None of us had sailed before, nor are women officers allowed entry in combat platforms as yet. So we three are not familiar with the sailboat. This is the first time we are using sailboat. We were not allowed to enter the battleships. Combat platforms means battleships or fighter ships as yet. So at first it was difficult to take that boat out to sea from one point to another. At first we struggled. Vatika Joshi says, at first they struggled to take the boat to sea from one point to another, but we slowly built upon it through 3 years of training. So they received 3 years of training to sail the boat from one place to another. From this, what do you learn? We get everything through learning, through training. Training only can make a man perfect. Nothing will happen all of a sudden or overnight. Interviewer, can you tell us about the training you had undergone before this expedition? We started with some theoretical courses on navigation, communication, and weather prediction. So we learned some theory papers on navigation. Navigation means what? Sailing, traveling, and steering the boat. Then communication and weather report. Classroom courses are different from sailing outside, but the theory papers are totally different from what we face in our real sailing. So we were given hands-on training like how to repair things, how to deal with the emergencies when the weather gets rough, if there is a medical emergency, and training was needed in tactical aspects as well. So she's telling theory paper is totally different from what we face. So hands-on practical training was given to us. What sort of training it is? How to repair the things, how to repair the boat, how to deal with how to tackle the emergency situation. So when the weather turns rough, so when there is a strong wind, hot wind, how they are going to face it. Then medical emergency, if someone is sick, how they are going to give treatment to the person. Then training was needed in tactical aspects. In the tactical means what? Talented way of handling things. Okay, the nuances to handle the situation also taught. Here, they talk about theoretical knowledge and hands-on experience before they undertook the expedition and the reaction of their household members. Aishwarya, we underwent our basic sail training courses in Mumbai at the Indian Naval Watermanship Training Center and at various schools in the Southern Naval Base in Kochi. So in two places, mainly Mumbai and Kochi, they underwent the training. We even sailed on INSV Mahdi to Mauritius and back, and also to Cape Town in December in 2016. So before they took this expedition, they had traveled from here to Mauritius and from here to Cape Town. It's just a kind of training for them. We even sailed on INSV Mahdi to Mauritius and back and also to Cape Town in December 2016. We were trained for almost 3 years to prepare for the voyage. Since the boat was old, it had minor leaks and repairs. Also, we ran out of water and food soon. So the trip was a tutorial for us on how to manage food, water, and even electricity during the big voyage. So when they went to Mauritius or when they went to Cape Town, during their journey, they ran out of food, water, and electricity. So it's a kind of learning for them how to tackle this type of problems. It's a hand-on experience for them. Now the interviewer asks a question. What was the selection process? He is asking the crew members how you were selected for this navigation. Aishwarya, one of the 30 women who had applied, 6 of us were shortlisted based on the little survival skills we showcased. So 30 women applied for the post. We 6 were only selected. In what way? They showcased their talents. The crew was mentored by Commander Dilip Donde. So the crew was mentored, guided by an experienced commander, Dilip Donde. But after I was told about the flare-ups at sea, I even had second thoughts about joining the team. So she cleared the test and she got selected. But when people talked about the flare-ups means the sudden outburst of the sea. Even she had the second opinion. Now she is fickle-minded, what to choose, whether to go or not. If something happens, how I am going to handle it. The flare-ups, the sudden outburst made her have second thoughts. Interviewer: how did your family members react when you told them about this expedition? So, did your family members support or encourage you or support you to take this expedition? Vatika Joshi, captain, speaks. Our families did have a hard time, but that was because most of them had never even seen the sea. Four of us are from the mountains. The first time my parents saw the ocean was when I invited them to visit. But once they saw that we are doing well and looking after ourselves, they were quite supportive. They were apprehensive and supportive too. So, in the beginning, it was a hard time because she's telling, among six, four of them are from mountains. They have never seen sea or ocean in their life. So the parents were a bit worried and upset about their this adventure. But when the parents saw their children comfortable and handling the situation pretty well, they were supportive. So it is about the circumnavigation, the rules imposed on them regarding circumnavigation. They obeyed by the rules. They did not seek any support in the journey, any assistance from anyone or from any machine. Let's read. Interviewer: what were your aims and how did you work to achieve them? Vatika Joshi: I wanted to make sure that I complete this journey with ultimate honesty, with extreme honesty. I didn't set out for a destination. It was the journey that mattered to me the most. So my contention was to make sure that we go by the rules of circumnavigation, which say that you don't have to use any auxiliary means of repulsion and you don't have to take anybody else's assistance. I grasped that completely. So she's telling she undertook this journey with extreme honesty, because the main rule is they should not get anyone's assistance or any machine's assistance. They have to handle the situation on their own. So they abided by the rule and they completed the journey without getting anyone's help or without using the machines. Interviewer: name that one quality of yours that enabled you to complete this expedition successfully. That one quality. Tell me the quality that propelled you to complete this expedition successfully. Whenever the winds dropped, it wouldn't have taken me even a fraction of a second to switch on the engine and say, let's go 1 mile ahead. As I told you, it is made of natural resources like wind. The boat is moving forward in wind. So when the wind is dropped, when there is light wind, the next moment she thought of using the machine. But inside of me, something poked me and said that you have to be honest with yourself, and this expedition has to be done with honesty. So, according to the instructions, they are not allowed to use machine. But when the wind is light or when the wind is dropped, she had the tendency to switch on the machine, but her conscience pricked and poked her and not allowed her to switch it on. I am glad that we were able to finish it successfully without the use of the engine at all. So, throughout the journey, in all 254 days, they never touched the engine. Interviewer: as the head of the crew, how did you involve the team? Vatika Joshi: we all sailed and trained the same amount, and everybody has their own way of dealing with situations. But there was a good time because we could discuss different ways of solving a problem and choose the best one. In fact, I'd say it was easier for us to collaborate and work together. Vatika Joshi says it's not about the captain's role or the lead's role. Everyone is trained well, so everyone came up with a solution when they faced something hard or some dangerous situation. Everyone came up with a solution and they tackled the situation in a skillful way. Poil Gupta: when you are out at sea, teamwork is the most important in the middle of the crisis. Even during the storm, when three people would be out on watch, the other three would be inside, wouldn't be able to rest. Somebody would heat the water, the other person would heat the gloves, because it was raining also. So the team effort actually helped in navigating through the 20 hours long storm. So she is telling teamwork played a major role here. When three were working, they three were out on watch, the other three were not taking rest. They were heating water, another one would be heating the gloves, then another one would be doing some other work because they faced a 20-hour long storm. I feel that if I had been alone, it would have been a nightmare to deal with the challenges that the sea throws at you. So they faced a 20-hour-long storm. She's telling if she had been alone, it would be a nightmare, a frightening dream for her to deal with the challenges that the sea throws at here. The velocity of the wind and how they fix the leak and all about the sea creatures. Sea interviewer. Share your experience about the most challenging task while sailing. So now he is urging them to share the most challenging task. Matika Joshi, the sea can get really rough when winds are picking up. Those are the times we have to be active and need to anticipate what could be there ahead. So if the wind is strong, if the velocity of the wind is high, they anticipated, they expected something bad going to happen. Especially, she now narrates a particular incident. In the South Pacific, we encountered a storm where the seas were almost 9 to 10 meters high and the winds were picking up to 60 to 70 knots, a unit of speed equal to 1 nautical per mile per hour, exactly 1.852 kilometer per hour, which is about a hurricane force of wind on land. It is normal on sea where there is hardly any landmass to stop the winds. So what they faced in South Pacific, they encountered a storm. There they saw 9 to 10 meters high waves. So the normal comfortable sail is 5 to 15 knots. Knots is like a unit for measuring the velocity of the wind or the sail. So here just 5 to 15 is the comfortable sail, but here 60 to 70 knots they faced when there was a strong wind. It was like if it happens on land, it is a hurricane. Okay, she compares this wind to a hurricane on land, which is about a hurricane force of wind on land. It is normal on sea where there is hardly any landmass to stop the winds. See, if it is on land, there are many obstacles to stop the velocity of the wind. But here it's an open sea. Here we don't have any land. Landmass means any continent to stop or to hinder the velocity of the wind. So it is very strong and scary one. It was also a blissful experience when something broke down and after a lot of hard work and effort, we were able to fix it together. So it is a blissful means happy experience. She is telling it's a horrible thing. It is the most challenging thing. What is the challenging thing? They faced a broke down somewhere. Something is not working, is out of order, but it's a blissful experience, a happy experience for them because they had 3 years of training in hand. So that practical training made all the challenges a happy experience for them. So training and hard work are very essential to undertake an expedition or to undertake any adventure. We will remember these incidents as well because it gave us the strength to move on, and if something went bad, we were able to overcome those challenges. So this sort of tendency, taking all the adventures, all the dangerous situation as blissful experience, helped them sort out the things, helped them to rectify the problems and helped them to overcome those challenges. Interviewer, how adventurous was your trip? Vatika Joshi. When we were crossing the Tasman Sea, we witnessed the brilliant southern lights from sea. So from sea they are getting lights. It was rare to watch that in those months, that two from sea. We were absolutely awestruck as we were not expecting it to see the entire sky lit up in green light. So sky is also lit up in green light. There was bioluminescence. Bioluminescence or like mammals or the creatures, sea creatures producing light. Then they are all dangerous creatures. They are all harmful to humans. Bioluminescence. Then after that they will have dolphins swimming in the wake of the boat. In the wake of means after going past bioluminescence, they will have dolphins. Dolphins are friendly creatures, you all know. They would be all sailing along the boat like our neighbors and a variety of other sea creatures. We spotted a dead sperm whale once and we thought it was an island from a distance. So from a distance they saw a dead sperm whale. It's a most harmful one. It would swallow the humans. It was so huge. It was just like a island from a distance. We are not specialists. So whenever we spotted something in the sea, we had to Google it to learn more about the species. So they are new to sea. They Googled and learned many things whenever they came across strange strange things during their journey. So here, interviewer, how did your crew spend time deep in the sea? It is all about their pastime and hobby. Swati P. During circumnavigation, we picked up some hobbies and kept posting pictures of delicacies like golgappas and cakes. Golgappas are pani puris. So she is discussing about her pastime and hobby. We also read books when the weather was pleasant and did some quilling and craft work. Quilling is an artwork. It's an art form that involves the use of strips of paper. Then craft work. While team leader Joshi read comics and the Ramayana during her journey, I loved cooking as well. So I indulge in baking. So Swati is interested in cooking. I also liked crafting a lot, so I used to make lampshades. What is lampshade? Is a cover for a lamp that softens the light and directs the light. I love it when people appreciate the food that I cook, so I gave my crew members the best dishes that was possible on land with the limited resources that we had on the boat. So she's telling with the leftovers or with the odds and ends, she made delicious dishes and shared with her crew members. Patika Joshi. 6 is a great number. We were always entertained. We watched movies, listened to music, and you won't believe some of the goodies the crew rustled up in our tiny pantry even while sailing in rough seas. We made parathas, baked cakes, breads, and even made halwa and rasgullas. Now she's telling 6 is a great number in a crew. So they listened to music and watched movies. Then they cooked goodies. Goodies means delicious food. The crew rustled up in like 2-minute noodles, 2-minute Maggi. Within 2 minutes or within few minutes, they cooked delicious food using the leftovers or using the odds and ends. So they made many delicious dishes. We celebrated festivals at sea. When we think about it now on land, we remember the Diwali we spent at sea. So they spent Diwali at sea. They celebrated Diwali at sea. We celebrated 3 birthdays, including the first birthday of the boat. Also, specific occasions like crossing the equator and the international date line and such. What is crossing the equator? Crossing the equator is nothing but the man who crosses the equator the first time. It is celebrated. So they are the first time they are crossing the equator, so they celebrated that day. Then international date line is an imaginary line of marking the limits of the surface of Earth that runs from the North Pole to the South Pole. So the international date line is an imaginary line from North Pole to South Pole. All these things they celebrated. Now about the greatness of the task and expedition. Interviewer, what motivated you to fulfill the country's expectations? Swati, we knew that the entire country was watching us and praying for us. So we never wanted them to have a single day thinking that we are in trouble. We knew that it is going to happen, but the people out there did not know what kind of challenges we were facing. So one of the motives that we kept in mind was that we did not want to frighten them. So we decided that once the circumnavigating was over, we are going to show what we have actually gone through. So Swati is telling they never wanted to frighten the family members by narrating the dangerous things they come across. So she says, anyway, we are going after this voyage, we are going to live with our people. That time we would narrate all interesting things we had come across in the journey. So now let them stay safe and let them forget about it and let them think that we are safe. Interviewer, as a woman, how would you consider this expedition? Matika Joshi, it's a matter of great honor. Expedition is a great honor, and we couldn't have imagined anything better for our cast staff for this journey. We don't imagine anything better. We did everything to our level best, and everything brought them happiness. So they didn't expect more than this. Of course, we being an all-women team, it's a great boost to women in the country. Just all 6 women were there on board. So she's telling it's a sort of encouragement to other women. But as we are going as sailors, and we as sailors have seen that the sea does not discriminate between genders. So she's telling we 6 women were there on board or at sea, but the sea didn't show any discrimination. There is no disparity, no gender disparity to the sea. it was always gender neutral, and we have realized that gender does not play a role in sailing. So, to tackle the sea, we need not be a man, because the sea is gender neutral. We need talents to tackle the sea. To handle the rough sea, we need talents, not gender. But to boost the morale in the country, and for more women to take in adventures like sailing, I feel so it is all about now. Morale means confidence and enthusiasm. So she's telling to boost the confidence and enthusiasm in the country, and for more women to take in adventures like sailing. I feel it is great that an all women team had been formed to undergo this expedition. So this all women team, all six are women. So this team is a sort of encouragement to women to undertake adventures. Now, so what is the exit pass of the day? What you have learned today? It is all about women empowerment. It is an essential objective to improve the well-being of marginalized women in India. So, quality education and job-oriented learning will certainly elevate their status. A hand that rocks the cradle can rule the world. So, I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Thank you. Happy learning. Bye.